Hi. So I was recently at a fundraiser for this program to educate children as well as educators, parents about sexual abuse locally, and through education and awareness and skill training to hopefully prevent child sexual abuse and sex trafficking. So when I was there, I was taking note of who was there, why they were there, what kind of questions they were asking. And this one grandmother had just this question that was really coming from her heart. And I thought I would share the question and answer with you, because I would imagine that she's not the only one that has this burning question. And what she said was, I have 4 granddaughters, and sometimes when they all play together in the yard, I'm fine with that, not 100%, but I'm okay with it. But when the other granddaughters are gone and just one wants to play in the yard, it really scares me. And I won't let her play by herself. And I don't know how to explain to her my fears without also making her frightened. How do we teach our children about the dangers without terrifying them? Thought that was a great question. The answers that were coming in to her were also of a curious interest. Somebody was saying, have you seen the Walt Disney Channel lately and see how those actresses dress? I'm thinking, what in the world does that have to do with any of that? So anyway, I thought I would share that question with you and maybe some more realistic answers for you. First of all, how old are the children? When you're talking to kids about boundaries and dangers that are out there, it really needs to be age specific. Also, the energy or the emotion that the parent has when they're talking to the child speaks louder to the child than the words. Do you know what I mean? So if the parent is really visibly uncomfortable or emotional, the child really picks up on that and can feel frightened or confused, because maybe the words that's coming out of the parent's mouth and the energy that the child is feeling doesn't meet. It's not congruent. So really practicing with yourself in the mirror or to another parent or to another friend so that you feel like you've got it down and you're comfortable with having the conversation before you engage in the conversation with your child is important. And also, again, being age appropriate with the child. Myself, you would think that coming from my background that I would just be really intense. But I had some really great educators who taught me what I'm passing on to you. And what worked for me and my children was to be really direct. So straight from as soon as they were old enough to understand language, I called a penis, a vagina. I let them know that what their bathing suit covers is their private areas. A little girl, her breasts are covered and her vagina and her bottom are covered. And with a little boy, his penis and his bottom are covered. And those are their private zones. And no one is allowed to touch those private zones but them, their mommy and daddy, maybe grandpa and grandma, and the doctor or the nurse. So who is allowed to touch the private zones was important. And also to let them know that there are some things that human beings can do in public, and there are some things that human beings really should not do in public. You can pick your nose by yourself, but picking your nose in front of the other children, they're probably going to laugh at you and call you names. It's probably not appropriate. You can pass gas in front of your family, and we're going to tease you, and you know, that's okay. But when you pass gas when they're doing prayer time at church, that's probably not okay. And I give these silly examples back and forth, and I also let them know that their body is their body and it's okay. So they might touch their vagina, or they might touch their penis, and it might feel really good to them. But touching their penis or their vagina in front of other people is not okay. You can't do that. It's okay to be naked at home in your bedroom when you're changing your clothes, but it's probably not okay to be naked walking down the street in your neighborhood. And I do it, I would make these examples lighthearted and kind of be comfortable and jokey about it, get my point across and let them know where the social boundaries are, and also giving them permission to be human beings and not make touching themselves either that's something they should do, or make it something they shouldn't do, or make it good or bad. It just is what it is. We would also talk about, you know, in the car, when my children would ride in the car, we would play books on tape. You know, now they have, you know, the little movies and stuff that the kids play, but in my day we had, you know, cassette tapes, you know, and the kids would listen to stories on tape. Just a natural part of our library were books on tape about, for instance, No-No the Little Seal. No-No the Seal had an uncle who was a whale who made him feel really uncomfortable when he would hug him. And so that was like something we would listen to and talk about. Children have a great inner sense, you know, and sometimes we discount or even ignore what they're trying to tell us. For instance, if there's a family gathering and, you know, you guys are saying hello or you're saying goodbye to the guests, and little Johnny doesn't want to hug Aunt Mary or doesn't want to hug Uncle John, sometimes parents will say, and push the child, actually deliver the child to the person that the child's own inner guidance is saying, I don't want to touch this person. And we teach them how to discount their own feelings and force them to do something that they really don't want to do, right? So being aware of that and saying, little Johnny, you don't have to hug Uncle John or Aunt Mary, that's okay. And Aunt Mary or Uncle John, little Susie or Johnny doesn't want to hug you today. So can we do a handshake goodbye instead? And then teach them how to do a handshake. That there's no shame, there's no upset, there's no drama. It's a matter of fact, you don't want to hug somebody, that's okay. You know what I mean? So normalizing the human body, normalizing the conversation about good touches and bad touches and private areas and what's socially acceptable and what's okay with your family. Having those kinds of conversations in a emotionally balanced way is a great example to talk about these things so that your kids don't have fear and you don't have angst and fear as well. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. Tough topic to talk about, but hopefully that will help you. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to log on my website and send them to me. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye.